Good evening. Welcome to the West Seneca School Board meeting. Could we have Ms. Pescius stand up and say the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we hope everybody's keeping safe and keeping safe distance and wearing their masks when they need to, because we're 6 feet apart. We're not wearing masks right now. We are going to go into executive session first. That's why we're starting it a little bit earlier today. We're going to discuss regarding proposed, pending, or current litigation and for collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law. So we will be back right after we finish the executive session. Okay? Oh, can I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Peter and Jody second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried 6-0. We're assuming that Mrs. Delbo is on her way. We haven't heard any different, but the show must go on, so we'll have our executive session now. Okay, we'll be back shortly. Okay, our executive session took a little bit longer than we had anticipated, but we're back again, and let's hear from our superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight, and to all those viewing at home, thanks for tuning in tonight. So, I won't be too lengthy, but I will just say that I think the school year started off very well, obviously under very unusual circumstances, but as far as a remote start to the school year is concerned, we had a very high rate of connectivity right from day one, so I was very happy about that. Some might have taken a chance to read the communication I had sent out yesterday, just kind of highlighting just our Chromebook distribution, the process that we used. I think was very effective in meeting the needs of our families. At this point, there's a relatively small number of students who still don't have devices, and in some cases, we've been notified that they don't need devices. So that is kudos to our IT department for organizing this. But I'd also like to thank all of our teachers, our administration, our clerical staff, our custodial staff for just, there was quite a bit of work to do. You might think, well, if the students aren't physically in school, what are they doing? There's quite a bit of work that's being done right now in the schools to make sure that everybody's up and running. And also our transportation department is still transporting quite a few students between our BOCES programs and out-of-district placements, parochial schools. They're delivering delivering lunches and breakfasts. So there's quite a bit of work still going on, with some of the staff that you might wonder, how busy could they be? Well, they're extremely busy right now. So one of the things that I had mentioned, actually in my communication yesterday, but in some of my virtual, my sort of town halls, so to speak, just the idea of, and I just can't say this enough, that, we may have said to our families, think about, Thanksgiving as kind of a time frame in terms of maybe you should be planning for some form of childcare, but I can tell you that we are actively working to be able to bring students back to our campuses. Just the past week alone has been very enlightening as our teachers have returned and they've been focusing all of their energies and efforts on being the best remote instructors possible. And I think that is a very important point to note. Being a good remote instructor, you'd have to do that one way or another, whether you had students in a hybrid form or you'd still have some fully remote students. Our teachers have to be very adept at remote instruction, and already the learning curve has been it's been great, actually. The teachers have really adapted well, and we've gotten great participation from our students and a lot of good feedback. So, but I guess to sort of look at this and just to conceptualize this, we're looking at really, it's a multifaceted approach to bringing students to our campuses. It's not, okay, we can bring one group, then another group. In my communication yesterday, one of the things I had sent out was said that we're looking at students that require evaluations. Maybe there's students that are English is a new language to them, or there are students that need speech services or social work services or something like that, and they need evaluations. Those can be done remotely, but we are looking to be able to, and we yesterday, a couple of our assistant superintendents, Mrs. Persico and Mrs. Fowler, actually facilitated some dialogue, which is going to continue Thursday, I believe, actually, developing some protocols to actually return students physically in campus to get those evaluations, and and then also services as well we're working. So speech service is not being done remotely. So you have a lot of very eager and enthusiastic therapists and teachers that are very excited about the opportunity to do this. So I would expect that to roll out over the next couple of weeks, frankly. I know I think I was a little more conservative in my communication yesterday. Also, though, we're looking at our students in our self-contained classes as well. So when I say self-contained, I mean that some students have special needs and might require programming in a smaller class size. Sometimes they look like 6-1-1, 6 students to 1 teacher to maybe another professional in the room, 8-1-1, 15-1-1. So we are also going to be, that's another group on our list of kids to try to be able to bring back into our campus for in-person instruction and support. So just another, of the many groups that we're looking at right now. Yesterday, if you'll notice, we actually indicated that we were going to be moving forward with athletics. That is also a phase. You're bringing students to campus and you're finding safe ways to be able to do it. So from that standpoint, you're bringing kids back to campus and giving them opportunities. It's just outdoor activities, but you're giving them opportunities to be able to engage and be on campus. So I guess big picture, this is an interesting start to the school year. I think that, the amount of learning that's taking place right now just by our staff alone as to how we can safely bring our students it will increase exponentially. So I can tell you from day one to now, it's a very different place. And our students really are engaging, and I want to thank all of our parents for working so hard and so diligently to make sure that their students have a strong level of connectedness. So, and I look forward to the school year progressing and us being able to return more and more students to our campus. So that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And for the board, we have some dates of workshops and meetings that are coming up. On September 24th, the Erie County Association of School Boards is having a legislative meeting, and this is probably a critical time for us to be involved in that because of the cuts in the budget, and this is a good chance to get together with other people in other districts, other board members, to figure out how we're going to lobby to get
what was that date? I'm sorry.
the 24th, September 24th. It's at 6:30 at the BOCES building. And then on the 29th, we'll have our work session where we'll have some of the department heads come and speak to us. On October 1st, the Erie County Association of School Boards has their awards dinner, which was postponed from June. And Mary Jan and I are getting awards from them. That is determined by the number of workshops that you have gone to. And they're having a drive-by award pickup. You pick up a chicken dinner and you get your award and you go along your little merry way, something like the graduation ceremony. So we're living in these different times. And then on October 13th, we have our board meeting, and we're going to be discussing at what point we're going to have the public coming into our meetings again. So we'll be discussing that before the October 13th meeting. Okay, so we have 2A and B, unpaid leaves of absence, and certified appointments. Those are positions that are being replacements. Could I have a motion to accept those two?
Make the motion.
Okay, Mr. Kwiatkowski, and can I have a second? Mrs. Pescia, I say that right? Petcha. Okay, I'll get it. Any discussion on those? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried 7-0. Okay, then for 2C, we're going to abolish a .49 special ed position, and I need a separate motion for that. So can I have a motion to accept that abolishment?
Make the motion.
Mr. Kwiatkowski, and can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Switek. Siebert, Switek, oh my gosh. Thinking of lawyers, I guess. Mr. Siebert, any discussion?
Can I have a question?
Yes,
Is this the position we are eliminating that we ended up replacing with a 1.0?
yes.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
We'd not, when we say abolish the position, it's just a position that we did not need and we didn't want to have it on our books, that's all. So there's not a person being eliminated or anything like that. It's just we determined the need was 1.0 and not .49, that's all.
Fantastic.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried 7-0. Okay, for the, we are abolishing and then creating, we're abolishing a senior clerk typist, and then we're creating a clerk typist, so the change of position. Do we have to do each of those separately? Okay, so can I have, for 3A, can I have a motion to accept that abolishment?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Kwiatkowski, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Petcha? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried 7-0. And then we have to create that position, the clerk typist, the change of title. And can I have a motion for 3B?
I'll do it.
Mr. Bedient, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Kwiatkowski, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried 7-0. Okay, then we have some retirements, resignations. We have a couple of appointments and some people have gone from probationary to permanent appointments. And community ed appointments. So can I have from 3C to 4A?
I'll move on that.
Okay. Mrs. Delbo, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Kwiatkowski, any discussion? Okay,
No,
all.
Just congratulations on the retirements. Good people there, and they've served us a long time.
Yes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried 7-0. Okay, then we have preferred building sub-appointments and substitute appointments, and we also have appointments of coaches. We're appointing cross-country coaches, soccer coaches for the fall positions.
I'll move on that.
Okay. Ms. Delbo, can I have a second? Ms. Petcha, and any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried 7-0. I have to backtrack a minute. I missed something on new business for 3. This is an addendum that was added. The memorandum of agreement between the West Seneca Central School District and the Civil Service Employees Association in regard to COVID-19 full-time to part-time benefits. So there's a number of positions in CSEA that are, we don't need them full-time, bus drivers, cleaners, teacher aides, a whole gamut of them, and we're going to have them go part-time, but still provide their benefits. So can I have a motion to accept the MOA?
Just,
no,
this is
but
more
where
specific to
is
the
that?
transportation
What
department, that's all. So
Okay,
not that-
for the transportation
What
department.
number is that then? What?
This is, it was in our packet.
Yeah,
It's,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
it's 3H. It's a addendum. This was added at the last minute, so. Okay, so it's for the transportation department, basically. And so did somebody make a motion? Ms. Petcha? Can I have a second? Mr. Bedient? And any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried 7-0. Okay, then can I have for the rest of the agenda, we have all of the reports that I'm sure everybody has looked at, all the financials that are there, and new business. We have contracts, leases, contract with natural gas, BOCES contracts to lease the half of the Potter Road School and West Elementary, and capital improvement changes. And can I have a motion to accept all of those?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Kwiatkowski, a second. Ms. Pesha, and any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, and that concludes our meeting tonight. Any other discussion from any member about anything you need to?
Were there any questions from the public?
Not that we
Not questions,
received,
no.
yeah. And I guess that's part of the thing people are saying, you know, that, I don't know if they don't know how to ask the questions or what, so in our work session, we need to discuss what we're going to do with the public input at the meetings. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Before we do the motion to adjourn, maybe you can address, if parents are emailing the district, let's just say that they're emailing you, are you, you're not 100% responding to every email? Is it like if it's a general thread of questions, you're addressing it in your, like, what's the typical protocol when someone asks me to say, oh, I emailed Matt, I never hear back from him?
Yeah,
Like, and I'm not implying that that's the case, I'm just, there could, when did you email him, how, you know, there's.
Sure. So typically speaking, if it's a question that is just an isolated question, I'm going to respond to somebody either an email or a phone call. If I'm getting a lot of emails about the same topic and I'm still waiting for some information, I know, for instance, we received quite a few emails about athletics, people just saying, and not really asking questions, just saying, here's my perspective, I'd like you to consider it. In those situations, I want to be able to give people information, so I don't always immediately respond. In some cases, a lot of times it's just people expressing an opinion, so not necessarily looking for a response. So it really kind of depends on the specific, I guess, email that would be involved then too. And I guess athletics was a big one lately in terms of people emailing. So in some cases I'd responded, and others, as it started to pile up a little bit, I said, we're going to be making a decision on this that will answer everybody's question as well, and I want to make sure everybody gets a consistent answer. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I just want, I mean, I don't want to imply that people feel you're not responding to them. I mean, you're typically getting the emails, but if it's, you know, a general thread, you're not replying. Like when I get Board of Ed emails, if it's addressed to if there's emails and it goes to the entire board, I know that the president would reply if a reply is necessary.
Sure.
But I kind of the same concept. You know, I would say if someone's upset, maybe they're not getting a response, maybe start off with, would you please respond?
Yeah,
Or-
usually if someone says, I look forward to your response, or, you know, please let me know what you think. I mean, to be quite honest with you, the athletics is probably the only example recently where we just got, you know, a fair number of emails. So I didn't necessarily respond to all of them over that period of time because we were expecting to have an answer for people. So it would have just been hold tight or, you know, something along those lines. We're still waiting, you know, guidance from Section 6 or something like that. So, but
I'm not your public, not speaking for you, but I just was confident that you weren't just sitting there reading the email, delete, I don't
No,
care. I don't
no,
care,
no,
I don't
no,
care.
no, no.
So I just wanted to make sure it got out there that you are getting emails.
Absolutely.
But you're not always able to respond to every one of them.
yeah, I just want to make sure I can respond with something substantive. So, in a
Thank
lot
you
of
for-
cases too, some of the emails are just the same emails, kind of the same message, and just sort of cut and paste in and sent to me. So I think, you know, there's just, you know, threads out there about that one particular subject. So,
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
sure.
Any other discussion? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Mrs. Dalbo? Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the adjournment? Have an early evening tonight. Okay, so can I have a vote? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried 7-0. Everybody have a safe week, and let's keep going on with our distant learning. Have a good night.
Have a good evening, everyone.